Hello, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at part 2 to my practice test for chapter 12, chapter 13. I want to go ahead and continue and go over a few more problems. We're going to deal with some more rigid motion and some more congruent triangles. So first we're going to start here with number 9, and we're doing rotation. And this one's 180 degrees. So there's multiple ways to do this. This is the way I want to explain how to do it. The first thing you want to do, and by the way, we're trying to find the actual points. So once we rotate it, what would the points be? All right, so the first thing I do is write down all your points. So it's J, I, K, and L. All right, now that's for the image. I'm sorry, the pre-image. But next thing we're going to do is we're going to find J, I, K, and L prime. Now, what you want to do is basically just change the signs. So if it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. So on this one, we got -5. We're going to make it +5. The 4 is positive. We're going to make it negative. 4 is negative. Make it positive. +2, -2. 0 is going to stay. 4 becomes negative. 0 stays. And 1 becomes negative. And then you plot and label those points, and you can see that it's an actual rotation that's been turned all the way around. So notice on this one, you don't have to worry about clockwise, counterclockwise, any of that. All you have to do is change the signs on all your points. All right, let's take a look at number 10. Now, this one is a 90-degree rotation, and you want to start by labeling your points again. Okay. Now, we've got all the points here. We've got them listed, and it's a two-part step on this. Okay, we'll come for our U, T, and V prime. And it's probably not the best example to explain this, but what we want to do is change your numbers. So wherever your X is, you're going to replace it with Y, and the same thing with Y, replace it with X. Okay, now, it's important to keep in mind, once you do that, do not worry about the signs right now. Do not worry about the signs right now. So we're just going to switch the numbers. But with 3, 3, and 5, 5, it's pretty simple. That's just going to be 3, 3, and 5, 5. But in V, you can see what I'm talking about. Instead of putting the 2 here, we're going to put it here for Y and put the 5 here. And again, don't worry about the signs yet, okay? Okay, so now something I want to refresh your memory to make sure you're aware of is the actual positive and negatives in each quadrant. Here, got a positive, positive. Everything over here in this quadrant is positive, positive. Everything over here, when we go back for X and then up for Y, it's going to be negative, positive. When we go back and down, it's going to be negative, negative. And over here, it's going to be positive, negative. Now, The next thing you want to do is you want to look and see clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay? Since it's clockwise, that means we're going like a clock in this direction. Okay? So we're going to turn this figure here. And since it's 90 degrees, we're only going to make one turn. So all of these points are going to be in this area. Every single point over here is going to be here. So, since I know my signs are negative, negative in this quadrant, I'm going to make everything negative, negative. And now we have our points. Really simple. Now, let's say we did counterclockwise and we turned it this way. That would mean all our points would be positive. Okay? So that's rotation with 90 degrees about the origin. All right, let's take a look. Number 11. Now, this is another congruency statement. We did one like this in the last video. Basically, what you want to do is match up your actual angle. We're looking for angle X here. We're finding the congruent corresponding part that goes with angle X, which is S. It's right in the same spot. So this is going to be angle S. Now in number 12, we're looking for UW. Okay, so we look and see where is that at in our triangle statement here. We've got U, and then we have W. So I want to get D and get V right here. All right, so our side is going to be D and V, and you want to make sure it stays in the same order. Okay, now, next thing we're going to do is we'll talk about ways to prove triangles are congruent here in number 13 and 14. And in my class, we talked about 4 different ways. They were side, 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 angle, angle, and angle, angle, side. So you want to take a look and see if you could find if it's one of these 4. If it's not, then what you want to say is that it's not congruent. Okay, so these are the ways you're going to prove or state how you know that they're congruent. Now, something else to keep in mind is sometimes your triangles are together. And usually when they're together in a certain way, and where they connect is a congruent piece without it being labeled with some markings. So let me give you those examples too. So for instance, let's say you have a triangle, 2 triangles like this, and that's a small triangle. But this piece right here is congruent to itself based on something called reflexive property. And if you have 2 triangles like this, the angles inside here are congruent to themselves, something called vertical angles. So not only do you want to look at the given markings, but you also want to look for these things to prove that the pieces are congruent. And then you just want to look to see if it fits in a particular thing. Well, in number 13, we've got 2 angles, 2 pair of congruent angles here, and a pair of sides. So you want to find the one that has 2 angles in it, which would be one of these 2 over here. And then the next thing you're going to check, well, on angle, side, angle, the side has to be in between. And on angle, angle, side, the side has to be not in between the two angles. So as I go in order here, angle, side, angle, the side here is in between. Same thing here. So since both of them match that way, this is going to be angle, side, angle. All right, let's take a look at 14. In 14, what we're looking at is pretty simple. All the sides here corresponding. And if you have all the sides showing that they're congruent, it's going to be side, side, side. All right, let's look at 15 and 16. Now, in these problems, they give you some of the congruent pieces, either given or based on one of those two properties I talked about earlier, reflexive and vertical angles. Then, what they want to know is which piece can make it congruent in a certain way. And they give you the way. So for instance, this one is side, angle, side. So they want us to prove this is congruent. What piece would we need to know is congruent in order to make it side, angle, side? So we look to see what we have, and we've got this side CB and HI, and we have angle C and I. So since we have a angle and a side, we've got those. We can mark those out, and we know that we're looking for a side, but it has to come right after the angle or right before. So we've got two sides to pick from. It can either be DC or DB for this one. And over here, it could be JH or JI. Well, in order to make it side, angle, side, it would have to be DC, so I could have side, angle, side. Same thing here for JI. So I can have side, angle, side. And then you would write DC is congruent to JI. Like so. Okay, let's take a look at our last problem. All right, now on 16, we're looking for angle, side, angle. And we'll take a look and see what pieces we have. So for example, we have angle BCZ right here and angle DCB right here. We've got that information is given. We know those correspond, those two parts, those two angles are congruent. Now, based on the fact that this is a shared side, that it's congruent, it's the same measurement in both triangles, the top and the bottom. So we know this. So now we have an angle and a side. So we can mark those out and see that we're looking for another angle. But it has to be right after the side. So we could either pick Z or D, or we could pick this angle here and this angle here. Notice how I said this angle here and this angle here, because it's not angle B. And I'm gonna talk about the names of those angles in just a second. But in order to make it angle, side, angle,
Nathan Kraft, to the attendance window, please. Nathan Kraft, to the attendance window, please.
Sorry about that. We're gonna pick this angle here and say if this was congruent, then we could say it's angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. All right. Now, to name this angle, you'll need 3 letters. So, and you wanna make sure your middle part here is where your angle is. So I would say angle ZBC is congruent to angle DBC. okay? And that's how you would name it, with 3 letters instead of just 1. It could also be named in reverse, CBZ or CBD. So be aware for that in case you have a multiple choice question. But that's pretty much it. And that is a review of chapter 12 and chapter 13 for my class. I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math, and have a nice day.